another day of the week. Welcome to the first ever episode of Chasing That Paper, presented by VegasInsider.com. So what is Chasing That Paper? Chasing That Paper is a to-the-point sports betting entertainment program. So what do I mean by that? Well, not going to be a whole lot of fucking around, especially off the top. We're not here to waste your time. So each and every show will be front-loaded with what you guys want most, our picks for games that are taking place that evening and that weekend. Following that, we're going to go into a topic of the day type segment, weighing in on the hottest stories in sports. Going all first take on you. We're going to be talking a lot of shit around here. Then we're going to wrap it up with an opportunity for you guys to get involved in the show. You probably saw a tweet go out for me earlier asking for your best bet breakdowns. We had a few responses, so we will be showcasing some of those picks later in the show. We're going to do that each and every day. So every show, it's going to be dictated by the sports schedule. Every single day, it's going to be a little bit different around here. You know, a Tuesday during the summer, it might be a 12-minute show. A Friday during the football season when it's NBA season, NHL season, college basketball season, might be a 35-minute long show. So we very much hope that you will make us part of your daily sports betting routine. Okay. Let's get down to business here. So I talked about a rotating cast of co-hosts. I told you guys who a few of them are. Stephanie Smalls will be joining me every Tuesday and Friday. Devin Walker from the show MTV's The Challenge. He'll be joining me every Wednesday. He's making a little bit of a name for himself in the sports betting world. And I'm about to bring on the guy here, I guess, who will be my primary co-host. He'll be joining me every Monday, Thursday, and Friday. And we will have an emphasis on covering the NFL game. So I've teased it a little bit. So let me tell you a little bit about this guy. You know, when I first met this guy, it was a little bit of a rough scene, quite rough around the edges. This guy was eating beans directly out of a can 7 days a week for lunch. This guy was eating chili directly out of a can 7 days a week for supper. But now he's changed things up. And I think it's fair to say he's become a very strapping young man, a very well-rounded sports better as well. You probably will recognize this guy. Let's bring him in here. Senior editor over at BetSide, my old buddy Ian McMillan. What's up, buddy?
One of the most disappointing surprises in sports media history, Joe. But I'm very happy to be joining you. Of course, we used to do a show together. It was a lot of fun. Famously lived in your basement for a moment of time, but I'm very excited to join you on the show Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays. Very excited for the football season. Let's play some bets. Let's win some bets. Let's have some fun.
Ian, where are you calling in from today? It's some lovely artwork there behind you.
I am enjoying my final week of vacation, the Muskoka Lakes in Ontario, Canada, my friend. So going a little remote for today's show.
Okay, very nice. So like I said, not a whole lot of fucking around, not a whole lot of small talk. Today was a little bit different because we're doing these introductions and whatnot, but we got a big show to get to, 6 total picks. So let's get right into the action with the first ever pick here on Chasing That Paper. And of course, it's going to come from a meaningless football game between two of the worst teams in the NFL. Of course, Monday Night Football, Falcons versus Jets. I'm going to take a shot on the Jets coming in as a plus 2.5 underdog. So we all know about the role that the Baltimore Ravens are on here in the preseason. 27-4 against the spread in the preseason. But check out this slide the Falcons are on in the preseason. 2-17 against the spread in their last 19 preseason games. Now you might say, well, Joe, that doesn't carry a whole lot of weight. Different coaching regimes and whatnot. Sure, but they haven't been good under Arthur Smith in the preseason either. Small sample size, but 1-3 straight up and against the spread. I think this game is a pretty good opportunity for the Jets quarterbacks. Of course, Zach Wilson remains questionable for the start of the season. It's assumed that Joe Flacco will get the nod, but maybe a great opportunity for Mike White to make an impression versus a pretty bad defense. And something here, maybe take it with a grain of salt, I guess, but these teams had a couple of joint practices against each other. And according to all reports, the Jets had the edge in those games. Falcons apparently look bad on both sides of the ball, so maybe a nice mental edge for the Jets, knowing that they can get the better of Ian's Atlanta Falcons, right, Ian?
Yeah, Joe, first show, first pick, you're already going against my Atlanta Falcons, man. Not a good start. I don't like it.
I actually took the over on there. I think they're at 5.5 over/under wins this season, you know, and I took them to finish third in the NFC South there. I don't think a whole lot of the Carolina Panthers. All right, let's move on here, Ian. We got 5 total picks for Major League Baseball, and you're going to start things off with this Braves-Pirates game.
Yeah, with my first ever pick on Chasing That Paper, give me the over 8.5 tonight between the Braves and the Pirates here, mainly because Jake Odorizzi gets the start for the Braves, and he has been absolutely terrible since joining Atlanta. 5.97 ERA since joining the Braves, and what's an even worse number, in my opinion, is his whip of 2.12 during that stretch. That is terrible. No faith in Pirate starter Roansy Contreras. I don't think he can get the job done tonight either. He allowed 4 earned runs in his return to the majors last week against the Red Sox. Also, his 4.82 FIP indicates that we could see some regression from him in the final stretch of the season, and things won't be easy for him tonight because he will be facing a top 3 offense in Major League Baseball in the Braves, who rank 3rd in OPS, 3rd in total runs scored, and tied for the MLB lead in home runs with 69 since July 1st. It's a bad pitching matchup. Give me the over 8.5 tonight between the Braves and Pirates.
All right, next up, we are moving on to Los Angeles, where the Dodgers are playing host to the Milwaukee Brewers. I'm going to take the Dodgers on the -1.5 run line, -120. I'm typically not a big run line bettor, but there's just too much ammo to back this one up. So take a look at who's on the mound here for the Dodgers. Julio Urias. He's in absolute Cy Young form right now. Check out this roll he's on. 1 or fewer earned runs in 8 of his last 11 starts. Now dig into those 11 games. LA won all 11 of those games. They covered -1.5 10 times out of those 11. Eric Lauer on the mound here for Milwaukee. He's getting away with murder. 3 walks 5 times in his last 6 starts. And you take a look at OPS versus lefties with 2 lefty starters here. 9th versus 28th in favor of the Dodgers. The Dodgers also have the bullpen edge. Bullpen ERA over the last 30. 1st versus 18th. And everyone knows the Dodgers are a great run line bet, but check out this tear they're on at home. Their last 26 home games, they've covered -1.5 20 times. All right, next up, we are moving on to the game that everybody is talking about, Ian. Of course, I'm talking about the Miami Marlins in Oakland to take on the A's. I got a bunch of guys coming over to watch this one. I'm probably going to call in sick to work tomorrow, so where should people be placing their money?
Yeah, it wouldn't be a true debut for me, Joe, without an underdog moneyline alert. Underdog moneyline alert. Give me the Athletics. +125 against the Marlins tonight, because in no world do the Marlins deserve being road favorites, considering they have scored only 2.35 runs per game since the All-Star break. That is obviously the worst mark in Major League Baseball over that stretch. Now, Adam Oller gets a start for the Athletics. I will admit he has an ugly ERA this season of 6.63, but I'm telling you, let's have some faith in my guy. He had some terrible, terrible results as a starter early in the season that really killed his ERA from the start. He was an effective reliever during the middle. He's back in a starting role, and he's shown some promise in recent starts. His last 2 starts came against the Astros and the Rangers. He only gave up 3 earned runs in 10.2 innings combined in those 2 games. So I have faith he can step forward against this brutal Marlins lineup. And meanwhile, speaking about both the Marlins, their starting pitcher, Pablo Lopez, trending in the opposite direction. He has an ERA of 9.00 over his last 4 starts. So give me the Athletics to pull off the upset tonight, +125.
I hate to break it to you, but Adam Oller absolutely stinks. You can ask producer Tito. We've been fading Oller quite a bit here over the past couple weeks. But then again, the Marlins offense absolutely stinks. So that game was a total stay away for me. Okay, we're going to wrap things up by taking a visit to Prop City. Ian and I each have a couple of pitchers on our radar. And I'm going to start things off with Drew Smyly taking on the St. Louis Cardinals tonight. I like these total outs recorded props. I grabbed this one over at DraftKings. You can get Drew Smyly to go under 16.5 outs, coming in at even money. And this is an absolutely beautiful bet. Let me tell you all about it. So if you don't have your calculator handy, it means that Smyly needs to stay under 5.2 innings of work. He's only topped 16.5 outs 4 times in 16 starts this season. And this is a rough matchup for him. He is a left-handed pitcher, and he's taking on a Cardinals team that is 1st in OPS versus lefties over the last month. Don't expect a whole lot of quick outs in this game either. The Cards have the second lowest strikeout percentage and 8th highest walk percentage versus lefties, so they work that count. They're going to see a lot of pitches. So we're going to take Smiley to go under 16 and a half outs. Ian, bring it home for us, baby!
Yeah, Joe, I got a pitching prop as well going. Cole Reagans under 3.5 strikeouts at -140. Probably not a name that you've heard of because he's only had 3 starts so far in his MLB career. Tonight will be his 4th, and he's facing a Twins team that has been very disciplined at the plate as of late. Dating back to the start of August, they have a strikeout rate of 19.3%. Only the Guardians, Diamondbacks, and Cardinals rank better in that stat over that stretch. And like I said, Cole Reagans making only his 4th start. He has only surpassed this number in 1 start so far in his MLB career. And also, he may not last too long tonight because he has given up 10 earned runs in his last 10.1 combined innings pitched. So if the Twins can get off to a hot start, get to him early, he'll get yanked before he even has a chance to throw a 4th strikeout. So Cole Reagans under 3.5 strikeouts, -140 to finish things off.
Yeah, he's not off to a good start to his career. I regret not fading him his last time out. Small sample size, but I took a hard look at his under strikeouts, and I didn't take it. I was kicking myself for that. Okay, so big part of the betting calendar coming up, with football right around the corner. If you're looking to tail the bets that Ian and I just went over, or looking for a new sports book to kick off football season with, I might just have one for you here. So Vegas Insider has a team with BetMGM to offer new users an amazing welcome offer. BetMGM Sportsbook is offering an exclusive bonus consisting of a $1,000 risk-free bet. Users must use the code VIBONUS at sign-up and be located in a legal betting state where BetMGM is licensed. This is for new users only, and full terms and conditions apply. How about that, Ian? You going to take advantage of that?
Love it. I certainly will.
I will recommend that to all of our viewers and all of my friends. So, okay, on to the topic of the day. Ian and I each have a pick for which team we think will be the biggest bust in the NFL this season. And the team I'm going to go with is the Green Bay Packers. It's funny. You take a look at the Super Bowl futures odds board, and you see the Packers anywhere from 3rd to 5th, depending on what sports book you use. And this is absolutely insane to me. Over at DraftKings, they have better odds to win the Super Bowl than the defending champion Rams. Let me tell you a little bit about the Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers are a great regular season team, and that's it. They're like the New York Yankees. They'll play great during the regular season, then they'll throw you completely off the scent. They'll get to the playoffs, and they'll fold like a cheap motherfucking suit. And, you know, take a look at Aaron Rodgers here. He's going to have a great regular season. He's going to be in contention for the MVP, but he folds when he gets to the playoffs. He's barely a 500 player in the playoffs, and I think he made an enormous mistake returning to this team. You know, all that drama for nothing. This is a guy who needed a fresh start, and it absolutely blew up in his face with Davante Adams leaving the team. And then they did a horrible job replacing Davante Adams with Sammy Watkins and the 7th receiver off the board in the 2022 NFL draft. So yeah, good luck with that, Green Bay Packers. You'll have a good season, but you'll fold in the playoffs once again. So I warn you, do not make any bets on this team to win the conference or to win the Super Bowl. Ian, what do you got for us?
Joe, I'm kind of surprised you're going against the Packers here, considering Aaron Rodgers has come out as a noted drug guy. So I thought you would have liked Aaron Rodgers and the Packers because of that. Big acid guy, I think, that Aaron Rodgers guy.
LSD user, yeah. So maybe he could use some out there in the playoffs. He needs to switch something up in the playoffs. My God, he shrinks. So yeah, maybe drop a couple hits of acid before the playoffs here.
I do agree with you, though, and I would actually take it one step further. I'm going to take the Vikings to win that division. I think Packers are going to take a big step back. Vikings take a big step forward. But a team that I'm talking about that's going to be a big bust this year are the Dallas Cowboys. Myself, Stephen A. Smith, on the same page with this one. I mean, let's talk about the number one main factor with the Cowboys, the number one thing that's going to hold them back, and that is their head coach. Mike McCarthy is an idiot. He is the worst head coach in the National Football League. He is a moron. He just even looks stupid on camera, especially when it comes down to clock management at the end of the game. He held them back last year. He will hold them back again this year. They're lucky that they played an extremely weak NFC East division last year. I think the Philadelphia Eagles have certainly taken a step forward. I think they're going to challenge them for the division crown this year. And also, they lost Amari Cooper on offense. I don't think enough people are talking about how big of an effect that will have on this team. And people are saying that their defense is good, but I don't really think they are. They were 19th in opponent yards per play last year. They did finish with the most takeaways per game, but I think that stat can be a little bit deceiving, especially when you talk about Trayvon Diggs, who, yes, he got a lot of interceptions last year, but in terms of his pass coverage, he wasn't good, and he's getting burnt time and time again, apparently in the preseason and in training camp. He's going to have a rough year this year. The Dallas Cowboys as a whole will have a rough year this year. And once again, I will repeat myself. I'll reiterate the same thing. Mike McCarthy is an all-time moron. He will hold this Dallas Cowboys team back this year. I wouldn't even be surprised if they miss the playoffs.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I took Dallas to miss the playoffs, plus 205 odds over at FanDuel on that one last week. Anyways, and once again, I'm in complete agreement. We're not going to agree a lot on this program, but Mike McCarthy is a buffoon of the absolute highest orders. 2022. Technology has never been better. We've never had more information, yet Mike McCarthy cannot figure out clock management. Mike, can you get a guy on the sideline whispering into your ear? Mike, take a timeout. Mike, run some clock. Come on. It's absolutely pathetic. So we are right off the bat, Ian, we're turning Packers and Cowboys fans against us. But like I said, we're going to be talking a lot of shit around here. Speaking of talking shit, and I think this is absolute shit. Something that you said a couple of weeks ago. You work with BetSided. You guys had a little clip there on, I think it was Twitter or Instagram, and you were ranking your top 5 quarterbacks, you know, something that people do throughout the summer when there's not a whole lot of content to report on. I got a bone that you had Matt Ryan ranked as your 5th best quarterback in the NFL. Is this something you're doing like as a hot take to get some attention, or what's up with that? Back it up.
No, it's not a hot take at all, Joe. And to be honest, I could have even ranked him higher. Matt Ryan is the most underrated quarterback, not only in the NFL this year, but in NFL history. And yes, I'm a Falcons fan. He's probably my favorite Falcon of all time. But there are numbers to back it up. People just don't like him because they don't watch Matt Ryan. They don't watch the Falcons. They're one of the most disrespected franchises in the media. They never get primetime games. So if anyone's watched Matt Ryan, it's me. I know how good this guy is. And I mean, heading into this year, even for the past 2 decades, who's been the best quarterback? It's been Tom Brady. As much as that sickens me to say, well, let's talk some numbers here, Joe. Did you know that Matt Ryan has a higher completion percentage than Tom Brady in his career, 65.5% compared to 64.2%? He's thrown for more yards per game than Tom Brady at 269.1 compared to 265.8. So yeah, me ranking him as the number 5th quarterback now that he's actually on a good team with an offensive line, with a couple receivers, with arguably the best running back in the NFL. To be honest, he probably should be ranked higher than number 5, and he will be my bet to win NFL MVP this year. And the Colts might even win the Super Bowl. How about that? So no, if anyone is biased about Matt Ryan, it's everyone else is like anti-Matt Ryan. He's the most underrated quarterback in NFL history, and I'll die on that hill.
Here's what I'll say about Matt Ryan. So I don't agree that he's a top 5 quarterback in the league, but I do agree that Matt Ryan is a top 5 quarterback in his division. I'll give you that. How about that?
Oh, come on.
It's going to be true,
too. Come on.
All right, so let's move on to our segment that is dedicated to you, dear viewer. You saw a tweet go out from me earlier asking for your best bet breakdowns. This is something we want to get going every show. We want to build a little bit of a community around here at Chasing That Paper. We're going to call you guys the CTP crew, and a few of you guys responded with your best bets, so we're going to rip through a few of these, and we'll give you a shout-out on the show tomorrow if these hit. So we'll ask producer Tito to bring up some of these tweets from earlier this morning. Yes, we don't cover a whole lot of tennis around here, but Chase Kitty, with a check mark too next to his name. So WTA Cleveland. We don't do a whole lot of tennis around here, but we welcome these picks. So Barbara Krejcikova is the number 1 seed in the main draw and is a first-round dog to a qualifier. Definitely a line that stands out, especially when you consider the market implications of giving plus odds to the best player. He's on Anastasia Potapova, minus 135. So, Ian, any thoughts on this big matchup here between Potapova and Krejcikova?
Yeah, Joe, I am a noted tennis handicapper, and I can say, and this is a fact, I have never lost a tennis bet. That is true. That is a fact. So, yeah, sure, I like this bet. I like a little Anastasia Potapova action. Why not?
Absolutely. I've never lost a tennis bet either. Okay, Tito, what do we got next here? All right, we have got Bookie's Worst Nightmare. I recognize this guy from the land of Twitter. He's on the Mets 3-way money line, minus 136 at points bet. I don't see a whole lot of 3-way money line betting in baseball. Maybe a good way to get some better value, though. So, but that means it can't go to extra innings, and the Mets have to win. Mad Max on the mound against a struggling Yankees lineup. You can say that again. Mets should score at least 3 against Herman, in his opinion. Let's go. Gonna tune in at work. Is it on YouTube? Yes, I believe we are airing on YouTube right now. So we will wish Bookie's Worst Nightmare good luck with that pick. What do we got, Tito? Tito a little slow at the trigger. Maybe a little hungover here on a Monday morning. Falcons minus 2.5. This guy's going against me. So the Jets are coming off a solid win versus Philly in week 1. But this same Philly team didn't score one punt or didn't force one punt or turnover against Cleveland last night. The success of the Jets had more attributed to how bad Philadelphia was. No Wilson and Salah, unsure about Flacco tonight. So a Proptimus Prime going against me. So I guess if he wins this bet, I'll have to hand over the reins of this show to him. So I might be looking for work here tomorrow morning if the Jets do not cover. So that's about it. We're about, 21 minutes in. I think a pretty good first show here. So what's coming up here? Chasing That Paper. Stephanie Smalls will be joining me tomorrow. She's going to be covering a little bit of everything for us, mainly NFL and PGA to start. She's going to have some picks for the PGA tournament this weekend. Devin Walker will be joining me on Wednesday. We're going to be leaning on him for some college football coverage because I don't cover college football very closely. Also at VegasInsider, another show debuting today at 6 Eastern. My buddy Kevin Rogers will be hosting a show called Down to the Wire, so I invite you to check that out on YouTube. Now, Ian, any closing words from you? Perhaps something you want to get off your chest, something from your past maybe that you're ashamed about that you want to own up to? The floor is yours.
No, I guess the only thing I'll say, Joe, is that I still hold a grudge against you for being the worst landlord of all time. This guy wouldn't even let me use the bathroom. I had to pee outside when I lived in his basement. It was a complete disaster. He overcharged me for rent. So I still do hold that grudge against you, Joe. I will say, though, to the viewers, be sure to tune in to Daily Bet Slip. I'll be hosting today on the BetSider YouTube channel at 5 p.m. Eastern. I'll be giving out other picks that I have different than the ones I gave out on the show. Also, my pick for the Falcons game, which Joe is fading my Falcons. Will I fade my Falcons? Tune in to find out. But yeah, Joe, I did want to get off my chest that you were the worst landlord I ever had.
And I'm still a slumlord. I'm not going to change my ways. If people are going to pay me for these type of living conditions, hey, I'm going to look to cash in. But just before I send you on your way, a production assistant just sending me a quick note here. So our very own Ian McMillan will be signing autographs in the steam room inside the men's locker room at the Brooklyn YMCA at 11 p.m. on Wednesday night. So if you want Ian to put his John Hancock on your paraphernalia, you can find Ian in the men's steam room at the Brooklyn YMCA. Kind of odd, but we do like to give back to our fans here at Chasing That Paper. So we thank Ian very much for that. And we thank you guys for tuning in for the first ever episode of the show. I think it went all right. Maybe a few things to iron out along the way, but we do hope you will make us a part of your daily sports betting routine. Good luck with your bets tonight, unless you're fading us. And as always, keep chasing that paper. Whoa!